Well, for more on that story, we come back right here to our studios where we're joined by POPCRU spokesperson Richard Mamabolo. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to the program. Those are quite disturbing scenes to see people that are in prison for various crimes almost creating a state of anarchy. What is the situation at the moment?
Look, we think that the situation was dealt with, especially in Kgosi Mampuru, it was dealt with correctly because if you remember, Section 32 of the Correctional Services Act does allow for correctional officials to use force in ensuring that inmates get back to their cells. So, look, there is a dispute, of course. They are raising a number of issues. Mainly the three demands: the issue around parole, the issue around the food, and of course, there's one more issue that they want to resolve. So we do not expect that when there are such grievances, it should be to a level where they act out of line with the rules of the correctional centers. And of course, we think that there needs to be more consideration. You remember that the minister did speak to the issue around parole, that there is currently a backlog, but we trust that it's something that the minister is really working on. You know, again, we've got a number of other challenges. The one other issue that is raised is overcrowding and the violence therein. You know, we've got a prison population of around 160,000, which grows on a daily basis. Yet the correctional staff is only standing at 39,000, and of course you can only get 1,000 per year, whilst the prison population
so that
is growing.
Suggests to me that actually it's a security risk that this population is increasing and that the correctional facility staff isn't. When the prisons were designed, they were designed for a certain number of staff and a certain number of inmates. That is skewed now in the wrong direction. So you might have contained it this time, but there is a danger that in the future you might not be able to.
There has always been a danger, not only to correctional officials, which is very high, by the way. We've seen a number of altercations taking place since the beginning of the year. But there's also a danger that we've got currently around 85% of reoffending rate. That tells us that the Department of Correctional Services is not doing its core function, which is to rehabilitate inmates. Instead, you've heard about a number of tenders that would be used for surveillance cameras, which cost billions of rands. We believe also regarding the issue around food, why can't we have inmates actually doing a number of these functions by themselves? The food issue as well. We've got a company called Busasa, which is currently catering the correctional services. Why can't we have inmates doing that? You know, we believe some of the work should be done by the inmates so that they get certain skills which they would use when they are released. Currently, the 85% reoffending rate is mainly because there are no skills that are
Government surely is aware of this. Is this falling on deaf ears?
Look, I mean, everybody is aware of the challenges. There's no willingness clearly to ensure that we look into the best way to reduce the, government money within prisons, but also ensuring that we skill them. So some of these problems are remnants of such things, you know, such decisions not being taken. And of course, it's something that's still going to be there no matter what we say. As long as there's no action, that will continue. So
your members are scared?
Our members are always under threat. We've had over 20 members just this year alone who have been stabbed, you know, and all these altercations will never stop because there are no improvements despite the members' issues alone. Issues like, the times that they work, shift patterns that they have within the SAPS, within the correctional services. There are many other challenges, and of course, working in smaller groups against a bigger number where the population increases on a daily basis. It's obviously a recipe for disaster.
Is it a coincidence that these insurrections happened at the same time? I mean, are the prisons in contact with each other? How do they know what's going on in other prisons?
Well, that could be a possibility, but if you look at the history of most of the altercations, they are planned according to, they know when, in line with the shift patterns that are there within the DCS, they would know at what time they've got a lesser staff complement. And normally, such altercations happen around those times.
Is the parole system problematic? What is the Minister doing about it?
Look, the Minister had indicated that there are backlogs, and of course, like I said earlier on, we trust that there is some form of work being done to ensure that. But again, you see, it does not solve anything to prioritize well, the challenge that they have, overcrowding challenge, by obviously rushing into the issue around parole, whilst the real work of rehabilitating has not really effectively taken place, because as I'm saying that we've got a reoffending rate of over 85%.
All right. Could this kind of violence happen again in the near future, in the next few days?
Under the conditions that we find ourselves in, anything is possible. That is why we're saying that we need to go back to basics. We need to obviously ensure that the DCS deals with its core function. And of course, I think working together and obviously giving stakeholders space to obviously form part of the discussions would be a step in the right direction.
All right, Mr. Mamabula, we're going to have to leave it there, but we certainly hope that the authorities hear your plea and try and accelerate their intervention. Thank you very much for your thoughts today.
Thank you.